What's the most boring movie you've ever seen? Tall Girl 2, it was beyond the point of just being a bad movie. For some reason I watched Battlefield Earth in theaters. I woke up at the ending credits. After Earth 8 Me watched March of the Penguins not knowing it was a doc. Transformers, The Last Night. I fell asleep during one of the action scenes. If I commit to seeing a movie in a theater, I'm in it till the credits scroll. Even if the movie is meh, I enjoy the experience of being out with a friend and seeing a film on the big screen that others spent portions of their own lives to put together. I have never been so close to walking out of a film than I was watching Lady in the Water. My ass actually raised out of the seat and hovered for a second before I gritted my teeth and swore that the movie wasn't going to beat me. It tried. Valiantly and desperately at every turn it tried to kill me with absolute boredom and frustration. In the end I made it. But to this day it's been the only one to come that close to victory. What fad are you glad died out? Those Facebook games from like 10 to 15 years ago and the constant onslaught of invites. I guess people would get extra points or some crap for inviting as many friends as possible and my notification box would be full of 50 invites saying, Tim needs goons for his mafia. Join Mafia Wars now. Single quote. Susie needs seeds for Farmville. Tyler sent you 500 silver tokens. Keith needs $60 for a gram of blow. Single quote. That one may have been a legit request, but I just couldn't take the chance on it being another game. There was a 2-year period in the late 1990s when Who Let the Dogs Out was featured on the soundtrack of every single motion picture. Double polo shirts with the popped collars. Keep calm and underscore. Lularu. It was big here and I never understood the trend. Weird fabric with ugly patterns. The overuse of the word epic. For a while, everything was epic. Ugh. Who was the best drunk, alcoholic character in a TV show, movie? Lucille Bluth. Randy Marsh. What seems to be the officer problem? Quote. Even with 2D animation, they conveyed perfectly how drunk he was. I'd say Mr. Leahy from the Trailer Park Boys. Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday in Tombstone. Low Key, Kitty Foreman. Bernard Black, Black Books. Serious. Redditors. What is the absolute creepiest thing that has happened to you that you can't tell anyone because they wouldn't believe you? Attention. Serious. Tag notice. Asterisk. Jokes, puns, and off-topic comments are not permitted. https www.reddit.com/r/askreddit/wiki/index #wiki_rule_6- in asterisk any asterisk comment, parent or child, asterisk parent comments that aren't from the target group will be removed, along with their child replies. Asterisk report comments that violate these rules. Posts that have few relevant answers within the first hour. And posts that are not appropriate for the serious tag will be removed. Consider doing an AMA request instead. Thanks for your cooperation and enjoy the discussion. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit. Message compose to =r AskReddit if you have any questions or concerns. When I was a child, I was running around the house. I think I was home alone. My mom had run next door to the neighbor. My dad was at work. I heard the door open and close. Mom? No answer. I heard footsteps downstairs that were too heavy for my mom. I freaked out and decided I needed to hide. I was next to the laundry room, so I ran in there and buried myself in a pile of dirty clothes. The footsteps came up the stairs. I heard the footsteps go down the hallway to my sister's bedroom. then mine, then my parents' room. Then the steps came to the laundry room. I heard heavy breathing. They stood there. It felt like forever. Then they left. I heard the front door open and close again. But I was paralyzed in fear. I stayed there, under the dirty clothes, until my mother came home and called my name. She thought it was all in my head when I told her what happened. I was out for a walk early one morning in a forest preserve. That's usually pretty empty. I start coming around a corner and I can see a car that's parked in the grass just outside of a parking lot. I think it's strange, but keep on walking. I'm probably like 50 feet from the car now, and suddenly the trunk pops open. The car alarm starts going off and the driver's side door opens. I'm coming from the passenger side and can't see the driver, but I get a bad feeling about the situation. I still keep walking on the path and come around where I can see the driver's side of the car. A guy is sitting in the car's driver's seat and starts to wave me over to him. He throws up his hands and says, "I'm not sure what's going on, could you come help me?" I tell him, "Nah, he's on his own," without breaking my stride, and keep moving. He throws his hands up again and turns off the car alarm, gets out and shuts the trunk, then gets in and drives away. I'm creeped out, so once he's out of sight I double back and walk the opposite way just to be safe. I walk back probably like the 30 minutes it takes to get to the lot where I parked my car. When I'm getting close I hear that car alarm going off again. I'm freaking out now, but didn't want to walk back into the woods again, so I keep going to the parking lot. When I get there, that same car is parked with its trunk open. Car alarm going off and driver's door open. The guy is already talking to someone else in the parking lot. He sees me come into the lot, looks at me for a minute, then shuts off the car alarm, closes the trunk, and drives away again. I just booked it to my car and called the park rangers, but they didn't believe anything was weird about it. I'm like 90% sure that dude was trying to kidnap someone. I drove an old SUV back in college. After school, I drove home, which is about a 30-minute drive. I was getting dressed at home when the car alarm went off. So I rushed out and discovered the car door open with the radio head unit and all speakers gone. I was thinking, this guy works fast. Reported it to the police, and after a couple of weeks they found the thief and asked me to go to the police station. At the police station I was asked a few questions and the officer told me I had to hear something from the thief. When I confronted him, he told me that he was able to get into my car at the car park near my school. And I unexpectedly arrived, so he dove and lied flat in the third row. So I was driving home with an unknown passenger all the time. When I arrived home and locked the car, that was the time he removed the items, and when he opened the door, that's when the alarm triggered. TLDR. I unknowingly drove a thief back to my house. Several years back, on a bright winter afternoon, I decided to take my nephew, then 7, my son, then 3, and my dog on a short hike at a local park. We were walking through the woods on a trail when my dog started barking. I look over and see a man standing in the woods, about 50 feet away, facing us. I couldn't see his face because he had one of those fur-lined hoods on. So with the distance and the shadows from the trees and his hood, from my perspective, there was nothing but a black hole where his face should be. I gave an awkward wave, but he remained motionless and I had a weird feeling, so I decided to just keep moving and making our way back to the car. I felt like we were being watched. So I looked back a few minutes later and the man was still just standing in the woods. But I knew he had moved because he was still about 50 feet away and we had walked quite a ways. My dog was growling and the kids and I were starting to get creeped out. We keep moving and I suddenly hear the sound of fast, heavy footsteps in the snow. I look back again and this time I caught the guy running in our direction. But he stopped as soon as I saw him and went back to just staring motionlessly from afar. Now closer than he was before. My dog was going nuts at this point and my mind was racing with possibilities. So I discreetly gave my nephew my phone and quietly told him that if anything happened, that he needed to take his cousin and run as fast as they could to the car and call for help. I figured if anything, the dog and I could at least hold the guy off long enough for the kids to get away. I think my dog may have scared him off because he ended up turning around and going in the opposite direction. I've never really told anyone because I don't want to come off as being dramatic. One night when I was 15, I stayed over at my buddy's house. His parents were gone and his older brother was looking after us. When we went to bed, the house was quiet and dark. I could barely see his bedroom door open slightly and I assumed it was my buddy's brother checking in on us, but then I realized that this person looking in on us was wearing glasses and my friend's brother did not. There was no one else in the house and I could not figure out who this person was. I was frozen in fear just staring at this figure looking in on us when my buddy, who was in another bed on the other side of the room, started screaming at the top of his lungs. I had never heard a more terrifying sound and my heart just dropped out of my chest. The person looking at us quickly backed out and the door was closed quietly. A few seconds later we saw the light come on the hallway and my friend's brother flew open the door, asking what was wrong. We both started yelling that someone was just here. The brother grabbed a baseball bat from his room and started searching the house. We checked the front and back doors and the garage, but they were all locked. All the windows were closed. He looked in every closet and under the beds. Needless to say, we spent the rest of the night in his room. None of us could sleep, so we just stayed up all night talking. It was one of the most terrifying but also best nights of my life. Subscribe, my brothers.